golden rule: do unto others as you would like done to you. Well, don't do unto others as you would like done to you if you're trying to be culturally intelligent and adaptive, right? That's actually the wrong piece of advice. The right piece of advice is figure out what this new group that you're associated with considers good. And then you'll know what they would like done to them, right? It's not about what you like. It's like the expression, when in Rome, do what the Romans do, and that carries some weight. Otherwise, we get into this issue of judging through our own experience. So imagine this. Imagine you're going on a business trip to the United Arab Emirates, and you're going to meet a business associate there in the flesh that you've only talked to over the internet. His name is Omar, seems like a great guy. You fly out there, you get off the plane, and let's just say you're an American, male, female. Well, let's just go with male for the sake of it's easier for the illustration. You get off the plane and you're heading out towards the exit, and there he is. There's Omar. You recognize him from the picture on the email. He walks up to you, gets really close, closer than what you normally consider appropriate. What you might say is he's in my face, right? So close that you can smell his lunch on his breath. Right? Then you take a step back and you think, well, hang on, this feels a bit uncomfortable. It's not good, right? Now jump for a moment into the mind of Omar, right? So we flip over, and now we're in the mind of Omar. Now Omar had just came up. He's treating you in a way that he thinks he should as a friend, and then you back away. What? You back away? What's this all about? I thought we were supposed to be on good terms here. Why are you backing away? He's thinking in his mind. So he takes another step closer. And then you, seeing Omar's in your face again, take another step back, thinking, what's going on here? Why is he in my face? This is really starting to get irritating. Well, what's going on here? Well, we're seeing a behavior, in this case, how close people stand together, and in the field of cultural anthropology, we call that the study of proxemics, how close people stand, and that's different in every culture, right? So what's happening here is Omar comes from a culture where it's normal to stand a little bit closer, and you come from a culture, from the United States, where it's normal to stand a little bit farther away. And just by changing that little behavior, it gets interpreted differently. So somebody who stands very close in America might be perceived as being aggressive, or pushy, or in some other way socially inept, right? Where it's the opposite in many countries in the Middle East. And that's this looking at a behavior negatively through your own experience is a danger. So what do you do? What do you do when you see something and the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, that's rude, that's inappropriate? Well, think about it. Typically speaking, people's motives really aren't bad if they're taking the effort to interact with you. Most of the time, 99% of the time, motives aren't bad. So the best thing to do in that moment is tip number 2 here in our podcast, and that is to ask what's called the anthropologist question. And here it is. The moment you see a behavior that strikes you as rude or odd, think in your head, I wonder why that happened. Now what that does is that causes a shift in your perspective, and it lets you look at the circumstance from with a different focus, right? We're not responding emotionally, but rather we're giving attention to figuring out why it's different. Now you can ask that in your head and ask one of your friends or look up information on the topic later on, but one thing that you can do in that moment is even ask. You can say, look, Omar, I notice that you stand very close here. This is my first time in this area. Is this normal to stand this close to people? I want to know because I want to make sure that I do the appropriate thing when I say hello to people. Now, people in general love talking about their own culture. They love talking about what's normal to them. Just ask my mum from Australia. She loves to point out all the differences between American culture and Australian culture. So I encourage you to have a chat with her if that's something you're ever interested in.